Hey everyone, this is Nancy with Double Tap Defense. I just wanted to do a quick political commentary on an article that really seems to be getting very little coverage in the mainstream media. And this is, I have pulled up on my screen a Time article. Supreme Court says Sandy Hook families can sue Remington gunmaker. So basically what they're saying is, and this is really major, this has got a lot of those of us who pay attention pretty upset because this is a blatant disregard for our Second Amendment in such a way that it's not completely obvious right at face value. So the way that they're using this to circumvent the Second Amendment is essentially allowing these families of these victims to sue a gunmaker for making the weapon that was used in the shooting. And the reason why this is such a devastating blow to not just gun makers, but any company that makes a product for public consumption at all. This is dangerous, folks. So if you read in the article here, let me go back up. So the nation's highest court on Tuesday denied an appeal by Remington Arms Company to review a lower court's ruling that allowed families to take on the gunmaker in court over how it marketed the rifle used in the 2012 school massacre. And then when you go on down here, so they said, we're ready to resume discovery and proceed towards trial in order to shed light on Remington's profit-driven strategy to expand the AR-15 market and court high-risk users at the expense of American safety. One of the weapons Adam Lanza used in the Sandy Hook was an AR-15 style Bushmaster. And then it says, the court's decision not to take on the Remington case is significant and suggests the court is not yet willing to weigh in on challenges to a federal law that has protected gun companies from lawsuits since it was enacted in 2005. The law, formerly known as the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, largely shields firearm and ammunition manufacturers and sellers from liability when their products are used in crimes. There are a few exceptions, such as if a defective weapon causes death or injury, or if a seller or manufacturer is found to have violated a law in marketing or sale of the product. But the law has widely deterred families from targeting gun makers in court, as it should. Because this goes for basically anything that could be used as a weapon. So let's say you're driving your car, and let's say somebody else is coming down the road at you, and they decide that they've just gone off the deep end and decide to swerve their car into you, right? Or even if you're just walking down the street, right? Well, should you be able or allowed to sue the manufacturer of the car because they used that car as a weapon? Should you be able to sue people who manufacture and produce, like, let's say, butcher knives or machetes or things like that, because some madman decided to take that knife or machete and go stab a bunch of people with it? Should you be able to sue pretty much anyone who makes anything? Let's say household Drano. Should you be able to sue Drano because somebody decided to use it for a purpose that did not involve cleaning drains? I mean, it's madness, people. And I also wanted to point out this other article, which is just total hypocrisy. This was linked in that previous Time article. It says just about everyone but the gun maker gets sued after a mass shooting. And this is an article from August. And I just want to go down here to point out, again, the illogical logic that they use. It's positively ridiculous. So they're claiming that this is basically the same type of problem with gun manufacturers, why they're not getting sued. And the funny thing is they even cite the fact that it shields them from liability, except for when the gun itself, has a mechanical malfunction that is, result of something in the manufacturing process or whatever, right? But they cite in this article, let me go back down here a little bit further. They're comparing this to the automotive industry, and claiming that the reason why they should be able to sue, because it's just like, here it is. So nearly every other manufacturer of a machine that has the potential to kill or maim is forced to think about consumer safety. Major automobile companies have shelled out billions of dollars in settlements over defective airbags, design flaws, and other faulty parts. In the cases of accidental death or injury on international flights, airlines must pay a minimum liability, blah, blah, blah. And then... Okay, so the key point of this is over defective airbags, design flaws, and other faulty parts. All right? Other faulty parts. Okay? I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news for all of these people, but guns are designed to kill. All right? Doesn't matter what it is you're shooting at, whatever. Guns are designed to kill. All right. This is why we carry them for self-defense, because if somebody attacks me with a weapon that, I feel is going to put my life, or my quality of life, or my family's life in danger, I'm going to shoot to kill. I'm not shooting to maim. All right. Now, that doesn't excuse people who use them aggressively toward others in a way like murder, which is illegal anyway, in order to, to commit crimes and whatnot. Okay, that doesn't excuse that behavior, but what I'm telling you is this weapon, this is a weapon. This is a tool designed specifically to kill. So, unfortunately, I hate to I hate to say it, and I don't mean it in any negative fashion as far as the victims. It's a horrible tragedy, but the gun that this man used to commit this horrible crime was a tool that is typically used to kill. That is not a misuse or that is not a design flaw, and that does not make the gun defective, because that is the intended purpose of a gun. So they're completely fabricating this entire thing as a giant hoax and excuse just to be able to put gun manufacturers out of business, because now essentially if any victim of any kind of gun crime decides that they want to sue the gun manufacturer that made the gun, they're going to allow it to go through, and it's ultimately going to put these gun manufacturers out of business. Because there's no way they're going to be able to shell out the amount of money to these people, and because there have been so many. I personally, I mean, I don't know what we can do about this, since the Supreme Court of the land seemingly has decided that this isn't a case worth them taking, or that they're not going to overturn a lower court that has ruled, basically that this other law that was put into place in 2005, that it's basically negated it entirely. So I'm not sure where we go from here, folks, but you guys need to pay attention and make sure that you're calling your congressman, and that, we're just ready for this onslaught of lawsuits that is coming with this, because this is going to be pretty big. And it's going to affect, not just the gun industry, but I fear a lot of other industries as well. But of course, they're not going to go after the pharmaceutical companies that make drugs that, because they state in the label it could cause someone to go off the deep end and turn psychotic, yet they take them anyway. They're not going to get blamed for any of this. So because, the lawyers are firmly in their pockets. So, I just wanted to point this out to everyone in case you hadn't seen it already. So, you all have a great day. Take care.